Hey, it's Adrian, and today I have the brand new Edifier W830NB. Now this has a bunch of upgrades over the previous model, the W820NB Plus. So we have Bluetooth 5.4, we have up to 94 hours of playtime, which is crazy. There's also LDAC, AAC, and SBC codecs. There's finally multi-point connectivity on here, and we have up to 45 decibels of ANC depth. The design also looks fantastic, and thanks to the new hinge, these can be folded up compactly for easy portability. But what about the sound? Does it offer enough of a sound upgrade from the previous model to consider the upgrade? Well, let's take a closer look to find out, and a big thanks to Edifier for sending these out for review. In the box, we have the Edifier W830NB USB Type-A to Type-C charging cable and manual. I have the gray version of the W830NB, and they look so nice in this matte type of gray that's resistant to fingerprints. Now this comes in at roughly 263 grams or 0.58 pounds, and the previous model, the W820NB Plus, comes in at around 237 grams or 0.52 pounds. So this is about 26 grams heavier than the previous model. And then the W950NB, this is the heaviest, coming in at 296 grams roughly. Now this is probably the closer match in terms of comparison. The reason why I have this is because some of the design elements remind me of the 950NB, and that is this new upgraded hinge. So you can see as I rotate this, there's no noise, it's nice and smooth, and this allows me to fold the ear cups right into the headband, so for easy transportation and carrying, same as with the 950NB. And if we look at the previous model, the 820NB Plus, the ear cups can just swivel, but you can see you can actually fold them up into the headband, so not as portable as the W830NB. So this already makes it worth the upgrade in my opinion. Now if we take a closer look at the outside, we have button control, so these are tactile buttons for volume control and the power on and off button, play, pause, etc. We have a Bluetooth button which functions as a multifunction button, USB Type-C port for charging, and LED indicator light. Part of the reason for the increase in weight is that we have a metal adjustable headband, whereas on the previous model it's all plastic. The other thing is, of course, that new hinge. And if we take a look at the ear cup material, so you can see that's actually very plush, nice length in terms of how long it takes to bounce back. And on the headband, we also have fairly plush material as well, top and bottom. So these should be very comfortable for extended use. Here's a quick look at some of the specs. Feel free to pause or jump ahead to the next section. I'm going to pair the headphones for the first time, so I'm going to press and hold the power button here. It's just turned on, and I'll go into my Bluetooth settings. And I can see it here, Edifier W830NB. Now we can go over to the Edifier Connects app. So keep in mind, you're not going to use the Connect app. This is the Connects app, and everything is paired easily. Just a heads up, if you don't see the high-res audio wireless lit up, that means that LDAC is either not enabled in the Edifier Connects app, or in your Bluetooth settings you haven't turned it on here. I'm now going to pair the 830NBs with my foldable phone, so I'll press and hold the multifunction button to put it into pairing mode, hit scan on the fold, and I can see it right here, 830NB, pair. And you could see I can just go ahead on my S24 Ultra, and it's simultaneously paired to both phones at the same time because I've disabled LDAC and enabled Multipoint. The headphones are at full volume. I'm just going to demo the Multipoint, so I'm going to go ahead and play the audio here. A really special pair of headphones. These are Edifier Stacks. And I can just stop that, play it on my other phone. And within a couple of seconds, I can just easily switch between audio sources. Now, if I get a phone call on this phone, it will automatically jump to the phone call if this was playing audio. In the Connects app, we can go ahead and switch between the different modes. So a high noise cancellation, medium wind reduction, ambient sound, or noise cancellation off. We can also change the equalizer from classic to classical, heavy bass, rock, or you can also set up a customized EQ if you like. And then we can also switch between music mode, game mode, or the 360 spatial sound. You can also see the battery level, but let's go into the full options. So we have access to the user manual and the control settings for the multifunction button. You can cycle or press it 3 times and it's going to go through high noise cancellation, ambient sound, or noise cancellation off. If I wanted to pick wind reduction, it's not allowed. I would have to disable one of the other options to get access to wind reduction. So something to keep in mind, only 3 at a time. Now under HD audio codec, you can set the sampling rate for LDAC or disable it completely if you want to be able to use multipoint. And under multipoint, you can see that you can turn this on so you can connect the headphones to two devices at the same time. You will lose LDAC functionality, so you'll have to decide if you want to make that trade-off. You can also pick Find My Product, and it's just going to kind of play a noise from the headphones to let you know where they are. You can hear that right there. And then we can also go to prompt volume, and you could switch the call out volume, like, headphones on, or when you're switching between the different type of modes like game mode, music mode, etc. And then voice prompt language, you have options for English and Japanese. It's the first time I've seen a selection in the app. Usually it's just English by default. And then you could set a power off. Right now we could just power it off, or you can set a power off time after a certain amount of time. The sound performance on here is fantastic, same as I experienced on the W830NB Plus, and in fact I couldn't really tell much of a difference, so don't buy these or upgrade to these if you're only considering sound performance, but all of the other features make it a worthwhile upgrade. So I made sure LDAC was turned on, and I was normally listening to the rock equalizer or the classic equalizer, and of course you can also set custom equalizers if you like. Now the bass performance was good on here. It was deep, resonant, and you do get that little bit of thump and kind of like a rattle if you're someone who likes things tuned a bit more bass heavy. I also wasn't disappointed when listening to vocal prominent songs, again switching between the different equalizers to suit my listening mood. However, I did find in certain songs that it might be tuned a bit too harshly on the high ends, but that's something that you can easily fix or remedy with the custom equalizers if you find that your ears are sensitive to that. So the 40mm titanium coated dynamic drivers do a fantastic job. It offers a well-rounded listening experience regardless of the genre of music you're going to be listening to, and the volume output is quite loud on here, and there's no distortions even at max volumes. With active noise cancellation, you have the option to set it to high or low, but on the previous model you could only set it to on or off. We also have ambient mode and normal mode, and we also have a brand new wind reduction mode that wasn't available on the previous model. Now, I would rate the ANC performance as just average, and I find it to be a little bit less effective than I did on the previous model, and I think that's because of fitment. And when I demo the sound leakage, you'll see what I mean. I noticed I could hear more sound leaking out of these than on the previous model. So if you're going to be listening to your music at fairly low levels, like say 40 to 60%, and you have ANC turned on, even on the high setting, I still think you may be able to hear certain noises depending on the environment that you're in, like say you're on a loud bus or a train, or especially if you're on an airplane. Of course, as you go higher up in volume, it's going to be more passive because the loud noise is just blocking out whatever is going on ambient, but it's definitely not as good, I feel, as on the previous model. I also feel like the ambient mode could do with a little bit more tweaking to make it a bit more sensitive for my liking. Let's take a look at sound leakage. So the headphones are sealed as much as they can be on this mannequin head. So I'm going to start at 50%. The microphone's about 16 inches away. And that's 80%. 100%. So even at 50%, I could hear a little bit of what was playing. I couldn't make it out, but I am in a quiet room. There's nothing else going on here. If you're on, a bus or a train or, a loud restaurant or coffee shop, and you have it at around, I would say, 50 to 70%, it's likely no one is going to hear. No one's going to be that close to you usually anyway, but definitely at 100%, there's significant sound leakage coming out of here, even though it looks pretty much situated. So I would say the sound leakage might actually be a bit more than I found on the previous model. Here's a demo of what the microphone audio sounds like on the W830NB. I'm in a very quiet room with little to no ambient noise. Here's what audio sounds like from the W830NB. I'm playing simulated background noise on my Z Fold 5 at about 40% volume, and it's about 16 inches away from the microphones on the headphones. Gaming with the W830NB is no problem, especially if you activate game mode, which is going to lower latency to 80 milliseconds. However, for more intense or serious gaming, you're going to want to use the USB Type-C connection if you're going to have this connected to a desktop or laptop. Button control is easy on here, so volume up and volume down work as you expect. Pressing the power button will play or pause music playback. You could also long press on volume up to skip forward on tracks and long press on volume down to go back to the previous track. If you press the multifunction button once, it's going to cycle through the modes that you set for noise cancellation. And then if you double press on it, that's going to switch between music mode and game mode. The battery life on here is rated for an impressive 94 hours if you don't listen with ANC on. Now, if you are listening with ANC, it's going to drop down to about 54 hours, which is still a full 2 days of listening. And whenever the battery does go low, a quick 15-minute charge will give you up to 10 hours of playback. The Bluetooth range is fantastic on here, and I left these in the basement where I am right now. I went up to the middle floor, no breakout in audio. I went up to the second floor, again, no breaks in audio. It's pretty fantastic. The headphones are also super comfortable to wear for hours at a time, and that's thanks to the skin-friendly imitation protein leather. Now, one thing is, if you're going to be in a hot environment, a hot room, and you're wearing these for hours at a time, if you're someone who sweats easily or gets hot like I do, you'll definitely notice it because of this material, so something to keep in mind. And if you wear glasses like I do for most of the day, it's no problem with these pressing or clamping against the sides of your head. I didn't notice any type of discomfort. The W830NB offers a ton of functionality and features. So we have the new hinge design that allows for easy folding and portability. We also now have multi-point connectivity, so you can have this simultaneously paired to your laptop or phone, so you can just seamlessly answer calls without any type of interruptions. Since both of these headphones sound exactly the same to my ears, if you're considering or debating between the 820NB Plus and the 830NB Plus, I'd say just get the 830NB Plus. There's way more features and quality of life improvements that make it worth it. I'll also leave links up here so you can check out my review of the W820NB Plus if you're interested. And if you found this video helpful, please consider checking out some of my other tech review videos. I'm sure you'll find something you like. I review a variety of different types of tech products. And if I can ask a huge favor from you, if you did find this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. It truly does help me out a lot, and I really appreciate your support. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one soon.